Hi there, this is Dr. Mu'in Hasib, the Accreditation Consultant and Quality and Safety Trainer with lesson 4 and the last lesson on biomedical waste management in clinical laboratories. In lesson 1, we start talking about the biomedical waste management, BMW management, okay, and we gave you an introduction. Then we talk about biomedical waste classification. Then we talked about the magnitude of the BMW and who generate BMW. When did the concern about BMW started? Why do you need BMW management? What are the problems associated with BMW? Who is at risk of infection? And what are the routes of a transmission? In lesson number 2, we start talking about biomedical waste management steps, and we cover all the steps except for one. So we cover willingness in investment, assigning responsibilities, doing a survey to see who's generating waste, and then waste generation, waste segregation and labeling, waste collection and storage, and waste transportation in-house and offsite. And then in lesson 2, we finished talking about biomedical waste management steps, and we talk about the last step, which is waste treatment and disposal. In the last lesson, lesson number 4 about biomedical waste management, we'll talk about the do's and the don'ts of BMWs. Then we'll talk about BMW Management Action Plan. I showed an example of it. Then waste minimization. I'll give you a definition for that, and then the difference between waste minimization and waste management, why you should minimize waste, how to minimize waste, and the 3 R's of waste reduction and a subject summary. So let's start with lesson 4. The do's and the don'ts of biomedical waste. The do's, the things you need or you should do. Segregate waste per category in the right bag or container. Ensure color bags of the same color as bins if you need to put a bag in a bin, okay, in a bin. Ensure that the plastic bag containers have biohazard symbols and labels. Remove plastic bags when 2/3 to 3/3 full. Ensure bag is properly tied, sealed to avoid spilling. Only use trolleys to transport bag to the waste container site. Never drag bags alone. Wear protective gear while handling waste. Use the product is treated prior to disposal. Always keep your record book on waste activity up to date. The don'ts of waste, of biomedical waste. Don't throw the waste indiscriminately. Don't put wrong bag in the bin. Don't fill the bag till neck. Don't handle waste without protective clothing or equipment. Don't drag the bag after removal. Don't remove, recap, bend, or break the needle. Don't mix non-infectious waste with infectious waste. Don't reuse plastic equipment. Don't mix plastic equipment with other waste. Don't burn waste. Next, we're going to talk about waste minimization. Under waste minimization, we'll cover definitions, the difference between waste management and waste minimization, why minimize waste, how to minimize waste in general and in the laboratory, and the 3 R's of waste minimization or reduction. Waste minimization in general, okay, it is a practice or process through which the quantity of generated waste is reduced with the main objective of producing the least or unwanted byproducts through the optimal use of raw materials, water, and energy that reduce the amount of waste entering the environment. So we want to reduce the waste that we are generating in general so we don't hurt the environment. It involves redesigning products and or changing practices concerning consumption and production of waste generation to prevent the creation of waste. Hazard waste minimization. It is reducing the volume of hazard waste generated that involves reducing the amount of waste produced in society and helps eliminate the generation of harmful and persistent waste, supporting the effort to promote a more sustainable society. What is the difference between waste management and waste minimization? Waste management focuses on processing waste after it's created. Okay, so we manage it after it happened, after we have it. Concentrating on reusing, recycling, and waste to energy conversion rather than eliminating the creation of waste in the initial phase of production. Waste minimization, on the other hand, involves effort to minimize resources and energy use during manufacture or use. So minimization, if we can, we won't even have the waste. For the same commercial output, usually the less material are used, the less waste is produced. Waste minimization usually requires knowledge of the production process, cradle to grave analysis, and detailed knowledge of the composition of the waste. Why minimize waste? What are the benefits when we are minimizing the waste? We save money. How? By reducing waste treatment and disposal cost. By raw material purchases, by saving money on raw material purchases and other operational costs, including storage. Also, the benefit of minimizing waste improve public and workers' health and safety. Also, improve environment quality, performance, and regulatory compliance. Also, improve efficiency and productivity of waste management. Optimize use of resources like water. Extend the useful life of landfill and disposal sites. Maintain or improve institutional image in the eyes of the public by promoting good public image and environmental protection. This is a video that I have for you. It's very short. It's about half a minute about waste minimization if you like to watch it. Next, how to minimize waste. We'll talk about how to minimize waste in general and in the lab. How to minimize waste in general? You need to plan ahead, reduce office paper waste by using electronic communication like email, or don't print it if you don't need it. Okay, purchase product in bulks. Get rid of unnecessary stuff by recycling, donating, and exchanging. For example, old book, old clothes, old computers, old equipment. Okay. Waste segregation, careful segregation of waste into different categories help to minimize the quantities of hazard waste also. In the laboratory, how to minimize waste? You need source reduction. Okay, it includes practices that reduce or eliminate the quantity and or toxicity of things at the source prior to recycling, treatment, or disposal. Example of source reduction: use instrument or output technique that require smaller reagent volume. Substitute more hazard reagent equipment for less hazard ones, like you use alcohol instead of mercury thermometers. Purchase reagents in small quantities, order only the amount needed. Excess chemicals often become waste, and any purchase saving are outweighed by disposal cost. Also, minimize specimen volume taken from patients. Also, checking the expiration date of product at the time of delivery. Also, you can minimize the waste in the laboratory by the use of oldest batch of a product first. So you prevent things from getting expired and throwing them away. Rotate chemical stock to keep chemicals from becoming outdated or expired. Use of all the content of each container. Take care when weighing and transferring chemicals in order to minimize spillage and additional waste generated during spill cleanup. Keep an up-to-date chemical inventory in the chemical inventory system. Review your inventory periodically to remove unwanted or unused chemical stocks. This is another video for you. It's the general video. I thought it's nice to see. It talks, they made it during the waste reduction week in 2014. It's about 1.5 minutes if you like to watch.
Not much happening there.
Not much of that. 40 years?
Again, 40 years.
Really?
Yep. 1974.
Paper had been covered
40 years
pretty.
ago.
Paper had been covered pretty good. Come out like that.
Really? It's still as clear as day. Wow. It looks like brand new. What color is that grass? It's green. I thought it would. What? What color is that grass? It's green.
Still a lot of color.
Yeah.
Half an hour. Looks like you can read it today. I'm surprised.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because I mean, paper. Right? Paper breaks down. It's grass. Grass breaks down.
I don't believe it. I would never have guessed any of it. That would still be there. You look at these from the bottom of a landfill site and the fresh grass is absolutely amazing. You would never get that in our green carts, in our organic bins. That's truly amazing. And a good lesson for all of us as to why we use our organic carts. Wow.
What are the 3 R's of waste minimization or reduction. They are reduce, reuse, and recycle. The 3 R's are reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce is more favorable, then reuse it if you cannot, if you reduce it, and then if you cannot reuse it, then recycling. And this is the pyramid of the most favorite option when it comes to waste minimization and the least favor. So first, try to prevent. If you cannot minimize, if you cannot reuse, if you cannot recycle, then use it for energy recovery, generate energy from it, and the least desired thing is to dispose it. Summary for the biomedical waste management. Biomedical waste management program cannot be successfully be implemented without having the will or devotion, self-motivation, cooperation, and participation of all sections of employees of any institution. Therefore, it becomes the responsibility of everyone to manage the waste in such a way that it is no longer hazard to them, public, and or the environment. Each institution should develop its own bio-waste management policy, defining responsibilities clearly. One of the most vital components of the waste management plans is raising awareness about risk related to waste by developing a system and culture through education and training to staff, students, and waste handlers on safe waste management practices. Segregation, collection, and transportation need to be non-ambiguous by using color coding and labeling of wastes. Clear directive in the form of posters or notes to be displayed in all concerned area. Selection of safer, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly options when collecting, handling, storing, transporting, treating, or disposing waste to protect people and environment from hazards. When dealing with waste, use universal precaution, hand washing, and PPEs like protective clothing such as gloves, apron, masks. Sufficient financial and trained human resources needed when you are dealing with the biomedical waste management. Proper housekeeping is essential, and the hospital premises should be kept clean and well ventilated. Need to build up of a comprehensive system, address responsibilities, resource allocation, handling, and disposal. Need to keep record for waste management. Container should be robust and leak-proof. Treatment and or disposing companies must be licensed for the type of waste they pick from you. Waste minimization is the responsibility of everyone as applicable. I am done with the topic biomedical waste management in clinical laboratories. For the next subject, please go to safety in clinical laboratory, the complete guide, where we're going to talk about spills in clinical laboratories. Thank you for watching.